Hello, it's Gene. I know it's been a while since I talked to you guys. I've changed my appearance, I guess. My appearance. My location. I'm upstairs in my bonus room, my movie room, and other things I have in here. On this channel, I normally talk about politics and stuff like that, but on my other channel, I also talk about movies. And I think I'm going to go ahead and do that now. I have an unboxing of Joker, the Steelbook from Best Buy. I just got it today. And I just want to show it to you guys. And it's a very important movie. A lot of people that are quote unquote America first, love this movie, and there are a lot of good reasons why. Um, so I think it was okay for me to put it on this channel to show you it, and then maybe I'll just talk a little bit about what's happening recently with all the different things, and possibly I'll use the code. If anybody wants the code to Joker, I might give that as a whatever. So if you just want to subscribe to my channel and tell me why you want the Joker um, digital download, just let me know. This is what it looks like though. Before I open it, this is the one for Best Buy. It's a Steelbook, and and I'll open it up and we'll look at it real quick. I'm sure there's other people on YouTube that's already done this, but this is what I do. I mean, my hobbies, other than talking about politics, is movies. And unfortunately, Hollywood has gotten so woke and so radical, um, progressive, that it sometimes makes it very difficult for me to watch movies. I still do, regardless of the people that I don't agree with politically. Some of them are very good actors, you know. Um, so let's go ahead and look at this. It has a little thing that they hold on to it from Best Buy. And you can see what the back looks like. It'll tell you the stuff about the movie as well. It also talks about the digital download. This is the front of it, and I think they did a pretty good job with that. It's not raised or anything. It's glossy. Um, I mean, it was a magnificent performance by Joaquin, and he's been did very well in most of his movies. Pretty much everything I've watched with him, I really liked. Let me go ahead and open it up. Well, let me show that's the spine right there. And it's the front, back of it. And here is the back, when he's going down. Those who've seen the movie, it's a very iconic moment in the movie. Open it up. And here is the digital download. Just let me know why you want that. And this is how it opens. Showing him as well. And we have a HD or F4K, which of course should be the preferred format in these days. Yeah, but you also get a Blu-ray. So that's nice to have. And also you get, for this set, you also get, well, let me show you those real quick. You also get your digital download, which is nice. So you can go on the road with them. And I'm a very proponent of physical media. As much as I watch a lot of things that are streaming online through Netflix, even though I don't like Netflix, but Netflix has certain things that I like, so I'm willing to pay them a little bit of money a month to watch it. But I watch things off Amazon Prime, BritBox. I just got Disney Plus for free because I'm a Verizon person. I wouldn't normally pay for it, but I was watching a lot of 4K on their streaming service, and they're just not as good as physical media. So I am going to continually champion that because I have about 1,000 Blu-rays, 4Ks, probably another 1,000 DVDs. I mean, I've been doing this for a long time. It is basically my passion. Regardless of how political that they get in Hollywood, I'm still going to continually probably collect these things. And this is the inside of it, and I think it's very well done. Unfortunately, they had a sale the other day, and I screwed it up. I was going to do it. You could buy two and get three, or get one free, and I would have saved about $15 just on this one thing alone. He had a lot of pre-orders that were available too. Like probably the best movie of the year, other than Joker, is Ford versus Ferrari, which is a great movie. Good thing for guys to watch. How it used to be in this country, and they looked at us and they appreciated what men did. It seems like that's not really the case anymore. The media continually just wants to blame us for everything that goes on. And when I say blame us, I'm talking about white people. So I want to talk about some other things. And I showed you that stuff, and there are probably some people who will come to this channel when I put in the title that unboxing of Joker. There are going to be people that are going to come here that don't know about what I talk about on this channel. So if you guys don't want to stick around, there's going to be something that might offend you, okay? But I'm just going to show you or talk to you about what's happened to me recently. And those who come here and don't come to my channel, there's reasons why I can't talk correctly. So I had a stroke a while back, and it does impact my speech. It makes it hard for me. I have to actually find the words, and it's kind of hard to do sometimes, especially when you're upset about things. Just a personal note yesterday. This is what really happens to me when I get upset. I had to take my son to get a star ID. He has special needs, so he can't drive, so he doesn't have a driver's license. But in order to fly in this country, you're going to have this little ID to be able to do this. And basically you have to prove who you are. Now, my son was born overseas, but I was in the military, so of course he's an American citizen based by that. I sent him. I brought his birth certificate from overseas, and they said it wasn't the right one. 2 months later, I got a different one. They still said it wasn't the right one. So I got very upset with that, and I couldn't really explain the issue there. So I basically had to leave there because it gets to the point where I have like a very small fuse when it comes to that, and I don't really want to do things in front of my son, let's say. I'm not going to do anything physical, but I'll say something and things come out the wrong way. And it's very difficult to deal with. So I try to be as calm as I can be when I get on here. And you'll see either those who stick around and looks at my videos before will see when I've just haven't been able to get the words out. And those are usually the days that I'm very upset about things or frustrated about things. Now, a lot of things have happened. Everybody's given Ricky Gervais such credit for what he did the other day, which I think was when you basically call somebody what they are to their face, and everybody knows is what they are. I don't really think that that's very courageous. Yeah, it was funny, and I watched it a couple times, and that was funny to say, no, Epstein didn't die, or saying that you shouldn't talk to people like us because they have no idea how we live and how they live. But he's still a leftist, and he still believes all the things he believes. He's an atheist. He doesn't believe in God in any way. He really doesn't give a shit about multiculturalism. He doesn't give a shit if Britain becomes basically a Muslim country. He doesn't really believe about shit like that. So he's not a champion for whatever the America First is, or making sure that white people still have a place to go in the next 100 years. So, and this is where I'm going to get more controversial, and a lot of people might leave. But, there's been a lot of things that's happened in this country in the last 15 years. And it's going down almost down that hill, and it keeps continually goes faster and faster. I was like, 10 years ago, I was like, oh, it'll never happen. I definitely believe that there's something that's going to happen, and I can just see what I see. The way the media is so one-sided, and not necessarily just right versus left, it's basically everybody against white people. And then a lot of white people don't even want to claim that they're white, and they just have so much white guilt. And there are a lot of reasons for that. You can't just live in a community where there's no fathers in the homes, and women are going to work, and there's nobody at the house when the kids come from school. Or if you're somebody that has somewhat of a high IQ, and you go into school and you want to just make all this money, you're not going to have kids. And these women in their 30s or 40s are all depressed because they don't have any kids. And they're like, no, it's not because of that. It clearly is because you were mandated or to have babies. It's something that you're supposed to do. This idea that we are like the animals in a lot of ways. but there is that need for the female to have babies, and there's a need for men to propagate it as well. It's something that it's so instinctual in our DNA that we have to do this. And in the white community, we're not reproducing. And what's happening in this country is that we're allowing a lot of legal people and a lot of illegal people to come to this country that are not white. And so this idea of what the United States is going to be tragically, I can't say the word. It's going to be so changed so much. Now, you can be on the side of it that you think that's going to be a good thing. We're going to have everybody from other cultures here, and everybody's going to just be all kumbaya, and they're all going to get together and have a good time. But I can just say through history, this has never happened before. What I mean by that, you're never going to have that it's going to be roses and whatever. It's not going to be, because when people from different cultures and different races, they will still group with themselves. So you're going to have this kind of balkanation of stuff. You're going to have like we have in Serbia and the former Yugoslavia. It's going to be that way. And if that's what people want, if they want like the Northwest of the United States to be basically for white Europeans, and if they want the South to be all about African Americans, and then the middle of the country to be all Hispanic, and the southern Southwest to be all Hispanic, okay, that's probably what's going to happen. But do you think that that's going to happen without any type of violence or anything like that? As somebody that has been around for a while, who's traveled the entire world, what's happening in Europe and what's happening here, and how we're just got our heads in the stand, and we're just, because we're so worried that if we say something, we're going to be called racist. I don't care anymore. Why should I? I know I'm not. I think if you have the character, I don't give a shit what color you are, or if you're citizens of this country. But at the same time, I should be able to point out the issues that are happening in the black community, as well as anybody who's black should be able to, these are the issues that they have in the white community. And that we should get together and fix it, instead of just sit there and say it's all about white imperialism or slavery from 20 years ago or 200 years ago. What is that going to do? Or if I give you $2 billion because of reparations, is that really going to fix the problem? There's still going to be 80% of young boys in the hood, in the black communities, are going to grow up without a father, because the media has pushed this narrative that being a single mother is the greatest thing of all time. And while the government is okay with that, because the government wants to continually want to have these women on their dole, and they end up having sons that they can't control, and they have no fathers in the home, and then they do stuff at the much, much higher level than people from other races that do. So you have people who are clearly racist that will continually say this, even though it's true. And then there are people that are just trying to say, you know what, there's an issue in the black community, just like there's an issue in the white community. We have like 25% of our families come up with no fathers, and it's so disastrous. And in the black community, it's more of, it goes into crime and everything like that, and they don't know how to be who they are, and so they get caught up in this idea that everybody who is white is against them, and they continually vote for a party that isn't going to do anything for them. Not that the Republican will either, okay, because they're just as bad in their own ways. I was, full disclosure, I was a Democrat for a long time, and I voted for Trump last time. We're going to get to talk about that a little bit as well. So I haven't changed. I haven't gone from Democrat to Republicans, because they're all fucking traitors in my eyes. Personally, if I had the ability, and this is just me saying it, it doesn't mean that I'm saying I want to do it and I'm going to do it. But if I could, I would line them all up and then do something with them, because they're all traitors to this country. And this idea that we should just have our hands in the sand and just say, we'll never be able to fix this part. Meanwhile, we're over in the Middle East trying to fix that, even though that's not really what's happening over there. And I might talk about that just a little bit as well. So when I talk about certain things on this channel, I talk about that like this. This is my life experience. I think there is a difference. There is a differences generally between the races. It's not good or bad. There just is, and sometimes there's some conflicts because of that, because the culture is a little bit different. Now, in this country, it's a little different. Although it's about 1964, 1965, this country was 90% European heritage in this country. We had about 89 and probably about 10 black, 10% black, and about 1% everything else. In the last 50, 60 years, it is just there's like 13% black, about 62% of European heritage, and the rest of it is Hispanic and other things. Now the question you have to ask yourself: do you care that this country is going to be basically Mexico in 70 years? And you think that this would be the time that African Americans who are citizens of this country and white people who are citizens of this country should be together try to say we need to stop this immigration. We need to stop this illegal immigration. We need to stop the legal immigration that's coming from the third world. Because when they bring their culture to this country, they don't always say, I'm going to assimilate to your culture. They don't do that anymore. They think that they can do this because we allow it to happen. We sat there and watched Europe doing this. We thought Germany's doing this as well. And all these girls got raped, and nobody really did anything about it. And now in this country, in like San Francisco and New York, if you do something that's less than $1,000 of stealing shit, you don't go to jail. You get a little citation, and then nobody's going to go and find you unless you killed somebody, and then they won't. This is where we're going right now. And if you want the rest of the country to look like San Francisco, do you want what used to be the greatest place to go in California? I was there, we left in 98? I don't know. We were there when it was a good time, and that it was probably the best place if you're a middle income person. And we left because of the military, and Kyle needed to do something. We had to do something more with Kyle. But now it's accessible. Now, are there areas that are nice, and it still looks good when you drive through it, through the country and all that shit? Yeah. But the country, or the state is bankrupt, and they just don't get it. And they're like, oh, I'm fine. Have you looked at what happened to San Francisco? And now we're going to have the same thing happening in New York. A great success story was New York in the 70s. It was probably worse than San Francisco, but it was bad. It was a lot of murders going on, a lot of rape and shit going on. Now we're having this issue with all the anti-Semitic shit. Now here, look, on this channel, I think all that shit is overblown in a lot of ways, but nobody really wants to talk about who's really doing the attacking. So, everybody talk about 13 of 50. I mean, we can have these statistical debates and say about, obviously there's a criminality problem in the black community. There is, because there's no fathers in the home. It's pretty simple to me. Before all this happened, the crime rate between blacks and whites in the 60s are about the same. Maybe a little higher in the black community because, they had the unfortunate thing to be the minority in the country, and sometimes you get railroaded because of that. No one's going to say on this channel that doesn't happen. But now it has changed so much, and it clearly is this. You can't, if a father's not at home, you can't expect a female to do something with their son when it gets to a certain point. Even though they're mama's boys, and you see them all the time in the NFL when they get drafted and they're going up there, and it's like they take their mom there, and it's almost like their girlfriend. It's a weird Freudian Darwinian thing that I didn't really like it so much. But anyway, we can have all these discussions, but first, what we have to do, obviously, we need to promote the family in all communities that are legal in this country. But we really need to stop all immigration. We need to build the fucking wall. And the problem I have with Trump is that he had the opportunity because he was the commander-in-chief. Now, I'm a retired person from the military. He could have told the Army's CE guys to go down and build that wall. And then if they decide to try to impeach him at that point because they were going to do that anyway, then good. He would have been a martyr for the cause. But right now he's become part of the swamp, and he's been co-opted by them. Now, those will go through later on and maybe see my other videos. I've talked about the Jewish influence in this country. And unfortunately, you can't really talk about it anymore. Now I'm going to talk about it because they can't do anything to me. I'm disabled, and I'm retired, and I hit money, and they're not going to be able to go to my job and stop me for saying what I'm going to say. But those of you might know in this channel that Florida passed a law that if you say something about Israel as it relates to like Palestine or something like that, and you go to school like University of Florida or Florida State, and you say something like that, they have the ability to expel you for you just speaking your mind. They don't like the idea, and in their own law says you can't say that these tropes about Jews having too much influence in this country when they clearly do. Everybody knows that they do. They run the media, they run Hollywood, and that's really gets me upset about the fact that I love movies, and I know that these guys are basically. I mean, we can go really into the satanic bullshit that we can going down that rabbit hole. When you get your eyes woken up, you almost want to just say, Jesus, maybe I need to go do what Hitler tried to do. And again, there's a whole other issue about that, you know. And I'm saying that's not right or wrong. You shouldn't have interned Jews or other people that were not favorable to his cause. But still, the idea that you can do all this stuff, you run the banking industry, you run all financial things, you run the media, but if somebody says, well, you know what, I think they have too much influence in this country, now I get out of school because I said it. You know, and it's weird because, you know, it's one of those weird things where the left kills themselves. Because on the left used to have, like, I remember I used to see like marches of like Palestine, free Palestine. I guess you can't really do that anymore. And the crazy thing is the governor from Florida went to Israel to sign that thing. And our president, it basically has been co-opted by Israel as well. And why are we in Iran? Do I think it was okay that he killed the dude recently? Okay. But if it goes to war about this is just another war that we're doing for Israel. And it's going to be United States citizens that are going to die here. And I hear this thing, oh, here comes men and women are going off to war. Come on now. 99% of the people are going to be killed in any conflict is going to be a men. This idea that women are going to the front line is all bullshit. There might be a couple, but the most of them that are going to go there, that's going to die there, are going to be white and black men, and Hispanic too as well. Anyway, I'm going to get out of here. But before I go, like I said, I voted for Trump, and I probably will vote for him again because there's nobody on the other side that I can actually vote for. The girl from Hawaii, I think Hawaii is okay, but she's kind of still a multicultural thing. So it's difficult. You know, he's made some very poor judgments. But you know, when I voted for him, my first thing was about economics, and the second part was immigration. Clearly, economically, we've gotten better, but immigration, you can't really say that when we find out that what they said, like 400,000 anchor babies were born last year. I mean, the idea is that this is what's going to happen, and you can sit there and say, oh no, I'm going to be a virtuous person and say it's not going to happen. This country will not be the America that we know, United States under the Constitution. In 50 or 60 years, it will be just another offshoot of Mexico. It will be, because their culture comes with them, and they get their own little areas that they stay. And when you go over there, you see it's all in Hispanic or it's all in Spanish. Everything is written in Spanish. Ugh. So, is that what you want? I mean, I'm watching wrestling last night for my son, and 2 or 3 segments, they're just talking to us in Spanish. Now, okay, they're both from Mexico, and that's fine, but come on. Whatever. I mean, I know that the Hispanics at some point are going to be the majority of this country. Probably not in my lifetime, of course, but certainly my son's lifetime. And they are clearly reproducing. The big thing is, before I leave, is this. It's like, I'm okay for people being here, okay? Personally, I think the country should be, what's the word? At least, I don't know the word. It should be dominated by the founders of the country, okay? We can talk about the Indians and all that bullshit, but we came here, we made it the country that it is. We had the laws and everything like that, and we built this country, regardless of what you hear about black people, that everything's on their back. Oh, okay, in the South, they helped with the crops, and they did some of the labor on stuff, but they still were such a small population size that they didn't do a whole lot as far as the infrastructure of this country. And of course, all the great people that did things were almost 100% white and almost all men. Wrong or right, that's what it was. So the question is this country, who was founded by white people from Europe, shouldn't their country at least somewhat resemble them? And if you say no, that everybody should be open borders, and you are solid on your belief, I'm okay with that, you know. But don't say it's because you hate this person because you don't like how Trump talks, or it's just because white people are just they've always been oppressors and stuff, which is all bullshit. Everybody's been oppressed. Everybody in every culture has been culture. Every color has been oppressed, and it's still going on all around the places. There is no real oppression in this country anymore. People get a raw deal when it comes to prison shit. But it's the right thing to have so much reform that you allow people out when they clearly are guilty of something, or you do so much that you're not going to actually put them behind bars unless it gets to a point where you actually kill somebody. When you say, well, you can go in and take $1,000, but since that's all, we're just going to give you a ticket for it. I mean, I don't want to imprison the entire country in prison. But again, this all kind of comes back to the same times. So when you're like, when I started this whole thing on YouTube, it was try to rehabilitate after my stroke. And I become involved in men's rights. And when you start going down that rabbit hole, you see more and more stuff. And, you know, but it comes back to the same thing. You have a solid family unit in the black and white community able to solve a lot of this. And if the federal government would be proactive and supports families and give us tax breaks to have more and more kids and do other things, things would be a lot better. Instead of allowing people from the third world to come to this country, and those people they don't work, and they end up becoming on welfare. And this is all proven. They are the ones. They're I'm going to say welfare kings or queens, like Reagan said. He was talking about legal people. But this is what's happening. And it's like, okay. And everybody says, well, we have to help people. Oh, okay, we need to help ourselves in this country first. So anyway, I'm going to stop at that right there. If you want to subscribe to my channel, please let me know. Any questions or comments, please put it down below. I'm sure this probably come out. A couple people might look at me like kind of strange and all that, but that's fine. You know, I'm all about debate. Just be civil in the comments, and also let me know if you really want to get the Digital Code. It's a great movie. It's certainly going to be in my top 5, and at some point I will put it on this channel or my other channel, the top 10 of the year. There's a couple more I have to see. I have to see Lighthouse and a couple others first before I decide what's my top 10. But again, thank you for watching. You guys have a good day, and I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.